So we'll record to the cloud, and then if you guys want to record over there too, you can. But I pressed the record button. So what I'm gonna do is, Miguel, I'm gonna send it over to you, and some people keep signing in. I'll just let them in the room.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right, so we'll get things started. Really excited to be here. Thank you all for joining. My name is Miguel Baike. I'm the Director of Student Engagement and Inclusion at Genesee Community College. And before I get into my whole spiel, I want to get to know who's here. And what's good about these small group sessions is that we get to just talk, and sort of just go back and forth rather than me addressing you. Yeah, I had my moment where I'm sharing a few things about the office, but I really want to hear from you. I want to know what you anticipate in terms of your college experience. Um, what do you expect from my office? My position in all this is to serve you and to help you build as a student. And so, before we kind of get into it, can I just hear from everybody, kind of your name, so your background, where you're zooming from, um, and a fun fact about you. I'd love to hear these fun facts. So, Miyu, do you mind starting?
Would you say that again?
Oh yeah, do you mind starting? Just like to hear about you. Like your name, where you're coming from, or where you're zooming at from currently, your expectations, or what do you anticipate to study potentially, and a fun fact. I like to hear fun facts.
Yeah, I'm from Japan.
Okay.
And I'm from Tottori near Osaka.
Okay.
And I major in tourism and hospitality management.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, what's a fun fact about you?
Something fun about you.
Yeah, something like a fun fact.
Like, for example, for me, I speak 5 languages, and I'm from the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm. So what would be do you have like a hobby?
My hobby is just exercising.
Nice.
Yes,
Nice.
every day I exercise.
That's good. Hey, you gotta keep healthy. I like it.
Yes. She did mention that she likes volleyball too.
Oh,
she was talking about possibly trying out for the volleyball team. So
there you go. There you go. All right, sounds good. Anybody else? I know we don't have a live video, but anybody else want to come on? And Yuna, May, do you have any? Would you like to join us? It's okay if you don't. If anything, you could always just hear us out. Yeah. But don't hesitate to either write some questions or get involved in the chat throughout this small presentation throughout this session. All right, so I kind of start getting a little dig into it a little bit. I'm gonna share screen, just a small PowerPoint coming out of my office. Things are relatively new in my area, so I kind of just want to throw that caveat. Too, actually, I am a brand new director. I've only been on campus for about 6 months now. So I'm still learning GCC, and I'm still learning what my area is supposed to look like, because formerly my area was called student activities. Now it's called student engagement and inclusion. The reason being so is because we're trying to expand how we engage our students. And I'll dig into that in just a little bit, okay? So let me share my screen real quick. All right. All right. So, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. All right. All right, so the office, as I had mentioned, is student engagement and inclusion. The main reason for that is because on one hand, we're trying to engage our students a little more purposefully, meaning we're trying to develop you holistically, and while our area is really in tune with, the partying and the barbecues and all that other fun stuff, But I'd really envision for my area is to touch on areas of development, of student development that are just going to serve you and help you later on in life. Whether it's you going into the professional field and sort of navigating that space or going and transitioning into a four-year institution. My intent is to prepare you as best as possible with certain skill sets that you can take on to your other experiences while you continue to grow as well. At least start a foundation on there for you. The inclusion side is really, of course, making you feel like you are part of our community, that you belong at GCC. And as well as it touches on these notions of equity, diversity, and inclusion that is really important to me, is really important to the institution itself. It's a core principle and value that GCC really goes for. And so my area really tries to touch on a lot of those pieces, the equity, the inclusion, and diversity part of it. And so I'm really excited in terms of the broad view of the office. But this is also to say we're navigating that new vision. I'm, like I said, I've been in the position for 6 months, and I think we're already trying to think differently in terms of how we serve our students. So it's going to be really exciting, and I'll dig into it just a little bit. So meet the team. It's a small team. It's a relatively small team, but we do, we do a lot of work and we serve a big purpose. So you'll have me as a director, and then I do have my secretary, who is Lauren Donovan. She is fantastic with the operations, with making sure that students are able to fill out certain documents accordingly. Just everything that, that the department needs, she knows. She's been there for some time. She's also a GCC alum. So she understands GCC and its landscape a lot. Our support staff is those who kind of work the part-time in my office. So we did have a part-time student diversity specialist. He's still doing the work for me, but his contract did just end in June this month. Randy Moot. He also works for College Village. We do have a part-time Restore representative. Restore is a domestic violence and sexual assault organization. So we have a part-timer in our office. Her name is Sarah Link. She's amazing. We do have a graduate assistant who just finished her master's. So I think she's going to be sort of transitioning, but she's still helping my office out until she's transitioning to her next location. Her name is Christina Backos. And then I do typically have about 10 to 12 work study students in the office, just helping us out with some operational stuff. And so if you are ever thinking about work study, if you are approved for work study, you could always even apply to my work in my office. Just want to throw that out there, okay? So what we are, who we are and what we do. As I said, I think our approach to student involvement and student engagement is broad and deep though. And so we are trying to really touch on core objectives, skill sets, and sort of attitudes and behaviors that you can learn, that you can sort of transform yourself and also transition into the other areas that you'll be kind of going towards after GCC, right? And so we do the recreational. We like I said, we're all about the partying and the grocery bingo and all that. But we also do touch on programs and events that focus on diversity, inclusion, social justice, health and wellness, community engagement, global citizenry, and then social team and professional development. And so be on the lookout on certain angles in terms of how you'd like to develop, and you can start just plugging away at some of the events that we put on and get involved as well. Even before I go further, I do want to say that a lot of what we try to put on is what is demanded by our students, right? And so I don't want to assume that this is going to benefit you. So what we do is actually ask you what you want, right? At the end of the day, you're paying for your college education, you're paying your student activities fees. So we want to make sure that we're utilizing our resources the way you want, right? And I know we can't put on every single idea that's out there. But I do my due diligence with really reaching out to students and saying, all right, what do we want for the academic semester? What do you want to see on campus? Who do you want to see? What kind of conversations do you want to have, right? And so that's something that I'd really like you all to start thinking about as you enter this environment. What are ways in which you would want to navigate this experience? And how can my office help do that, right? And so I want to put that on you as well. I think I'm really, really intentional about trying to put certain programs out there. But at the end of the day, I want to serve you. And so I need to hear from you. I need you to get involved. I need you to be part of clubs and organizations, be part of student activities, a campus activities board, be part of the student government association. Your voice is very important. And so we need to hear it. Okay. So I hold that philosophy, and that's the philosophy that my office really tries to engage in. Okay. What we offer, and sort of tying into what I just really said, we offer over 40 clubs and organizations, esports, outdoor adventure club, woke, which is really touching on social justice issues, the International Student Organization, Psychology Club. There's so many organizations out there that you can really take part of. And if you don't find anything that you're interested in, then create one. Go through our process and develop a constitution. Develop your executive board and create and find an interested population that wants to get in tune with what you want to out of your college experience, right? And so there's opportunity for you to create your own club and organization there. Like I said, there is a process, but more likely than not, if you're doing things accordingly, then it will be approved. So just want to throw that out there. A lot of ways to just really, really get engaged on campus. The two governing boards that are like that is sort of transitioning in terms of how it's operating now are the Student Government Association and the Campus Activities Boards. And these are two really big organizations. They have a lot of sort of political influence at the student and even at the staff and administration level. But the Campus Activity Boards also has a large budget to put on programs that our students want to see. You can sit on those governing boards. You put a campaign together, for example, for your student government association. You can put your own campaigns together and get elected into a certain position. And our positions have really expanded this past few months because I thought there was a need for us to really focus on certain areas, right? So you have your traditional positions, your president, your treasurer, your secretary, we have those traditional ones, but we included positions such as the vice president of academic affairs to work with our faculty, and the vice president of campus programming that oversees campus activity boards, and the vice president for athletic affairs so that we can engage our athletes in our full population as well. So there's a lot of ways and a lot of cabinet level positions in student government that you can take part in. And what was really neat about it is that we actually, I got the approval this year to have those elected positions get a small little stipend. So you get a little money for serving. It does come in with a lot of commitment. It comes in with a lot of work, but what you can do is really influence and change, as well as make sure that your peers are getting the type of experience that they want, right? And so you are the representative for your student body. You are the representative for what is really going to be out there in terms of what we come out of our office. And so really, really get excited about ways that you can get involved. And these are two big, like I said, governing bodies that would allow you to make sure, one, that you're getting your voice heard and you're representing your student body, but two, navigating those sort of programs and events that you want to make sure that we are highlighting. Who knows, what you might put on next might be a staple from here on out. You know what I'm saying? It might be that that one of the programs, at least, that always sticks out is called Boo Ball. It's really happens around the October Halloween era. And that has been a tradition for as long as, people have been telling me for quite some time now. And so imagine creating an event or a program that is staple, that now speaks to the narrative of GCC. You can be part of that. And I think that's really, really exciting. Before I dig further, any questions on this so far? I know I'm throwing a lot at you. I didn't mean to lecture, but I get excited about this stuff. All right.
So I didn't see there was no questions in the chat. So
okay, sounds good. Thank you. And so I think let's continue, and then we can continue the conversation a little bit. So other things that my office does, orientation, it's big. We're welcoming you on campus, and we're trying to find ways that makes you feel comfortable right from the start, as well as make sure that you are meeting your peers, make sure that you are engaging with staff and faculty, right? And so orientation is really, really big. This year is going to be, a little different because we are doing sort of the virtual orientation. There's probably going to be some hybrid, on-campus activities that folks can come on, but because of everything that's happening right now, we're being just really careful on how we navigate large social spaces. So, but I think it's still really exciting. We're doing our online orientation now. We're going to be creating videos of really significant departments that you need to know right up front, just in case you need some resources, or just to meet some folks right from the start. As well as, we'll be doing some live sessions throughout a week, pairing our staff and faculty together, to talk about important topics. One that comes to mind, for example, is it's a pair of, our wellness team, or our mental health counselors, or our counselors in general, with a psych professor to talk about transitions into the collegiate environment, or homesickness, or how do you navigate that, right? There's a whole sort of philosophy around sort of the feelings that students get transitioning to a college environment. So how do you navigate that? And who should you go out and see? How do you start recognizing it, and how do you adapt to it? And so I think really great conversations are going to come off as an extension of orientation of what it would have been, which I think is going to serve us really well. And it's going to serve you all really well, because it's going to provide some discussions right from the start that maybe you're already starting to feel, or starting to think about, right? And so look forward to that. Commencement also comes out of my office. So as we welcome you in, we also are the ones to say goodbye, and sort of create that celebratory moment for you, which is really, really exciting. This year, because of course, what everything happened, we did our first ever virtual commencement. And our planning group, it was about a planning group of 10 to 13, staff, put an amazing ceremony on. The production was just great. It was all around just fantastic. And so I know it didn't meet the in-person one. Nothing can ever capture that, actual hug, or nothing can ever capture that, shaking the president's hand as you're walking with your diploma. But this was just our way to sort of acknowledge the efforts and the accomplishments of our students. And so we also, just off of that, we did invite our graduates this year to next year's graduation, just so that they can have, sort of the best of both worlds in that sense. So commencement is of course that celebratory moment in your life. It's reaching a milestone. It's just a way for you to say goodbye to an institution that hopefully gave you as much of a good experience as you wanted. But then it's also a reminder that we hope to see you back as alumni. We hope that you come home, you give back to students who are going to come after you, and we really try to get that message to you, because I think a lot of people did step up, in terms of the alumni base, to try to make sure that our students are always continuously growing, developing, succeeding. And so it's graduation and commencement is just one of those moments that I'm really proud that my office does take part in. Voter registration, it's an election year here. And elections are constantly happening, whether you're talking about local, state, or federal government, right? It's so what we try to do in terms of that civic engagement, or global citizenry, because it does tie into it, is have you sign up to to be registered to vote. What does it mean to vote? How do you have what kind of power do you have? What kind of influence do you have within these elections, right? And so voter registration is not just putting in that absentee ballot. It's much more of a conversation about how do you navigate the political space, especially at an institution where you'll be meeting folks who have totally different drastic political views than you, right? And so How do you navigate that conversation? What's really exciting is that I'm working with two professors, Paul Brew and Daniel Snyder, out of the political science and communication departments, respectfully. And we are trying to put together a political discourse series for the fall semester in which we'd be able to, have these kind of discussions. How do you talk about politics without causing disruption, right? How do you become an ambassador for your thoughts on the political area, right? And so it's going to be really exciting. So I hope you look forward to that come the fall semester. And last but not least, is our leadership certificate program. And it is under construction right now. We are trying to revitalize it a bit. But what the vision is for this program is there are going to be general courses in which we try to build you up as a leader. Just what does it mean to work like in a team? What is the difference between a manager and a leader? Just those kind of conversations that are sort of broad in general. But what's exciting is that we're trying to create sort of emphasis in this program. So you can have the general certification, but you can also have an emphasis in diversity and inclusion. Same thing, you can have the general education, but then you could also have an emphasis in civic engagement, right? And so the leadership certificate program will launch again in the fall. So be excited for that. It will be interesting the way it's going to be navigating this semester because of, again, everything that's happening. But we're going to do some virtual live sessions, and we'll record those sessions and put it up there. And once we get back in person, we'll invite some speakers to sort of talk about certain specific topics. What is interesting about this is that there will be a reflective piece to it. So you go to a session and you have to write a 1 or 2 page reflection on it, right? It's not just attending a session and sort of not taking anything away from it. It's you sort of dissecting what you learned, and how would you use this information to sort of transform or transition, right? And so there is intentionality behind it, and this was something that has been creating, but I was part of it through another institution that I worked, and it was just fascinating to read the reflections of students through these topics. It was great. How conscious some students came out of certain sessions regarding topics, and yeah, it was just great. So really look forward to the leadership certificate program. It's going to be really cool. Before I go in, any questions? I'm throwing a lot at you again. I know I'm a talker. I'm sorry.
No. Now, the good thing about the leadership program certificate too is that it will help you with your resume. So once you graduate, you go on to a different school, or if you decide to go back home to Japan and work, you have that say, hey, I completed the certificate. I went up and beyond and did extra steps in order to just be different than everybody else. So that's what typically a lot of employers will see is wow, you actually did something extra while you were in school, and that might set you apart from somebody else.
That's right. Thank you, Leo. All right, so I think this is second to last slide. Some other resources coming out of my office, as I mentioned before, Restore is out of my office. It's a sexual assault, domestic violence services. We really try to, create program and discussion around sexual assault and domestic violence, raise awareness about it, as well as our rep in the office is an advocate, is a counselor. So if if anything were to happen, or if you knew of someone who experienced sexual assault or domestic violence, you are able to talk to them on a confidential and one-on-one level. And so I just want to throw that out there. It's a great resource out of my area. Food Link is also another great resource. I was given the opportunity right when I kind of came on to take over the food pantry on campus. And what that does is I work with Food Link, and they, I apply for a grant in which they supply me funds to purchase food for the community. If students need, it's on a sort of honorary code in many ways. But if you are struggling financially, or you just don't have access to you know, to travel to the supermarket or whatever the case may be, you could always come to my office and request services from the food pantry. We do fill it up. Our food pantry actually is filled up. I want to just show you a quick video because I thought I did a pretty good job, you know, with it. So give me 1 second. Stop share on this one. So it's really equipped with a whole bunch of food, anything from your vegetables, you know, your produce, your grains, breakfast, lunch, and dinner type of items. We also have you know, toiletries. We have all types of things. You can really take advantage of it. And then of course we have like they did forget to deliver my eggs, so you know, I had to reach out to them to deliver the eggs. But at that point it was you know, it was fully stocked, and we're gonna continue to stock. You can use it anytime based on the USDA sort of guidelines. But yeah, it's a great service coming out of my area, and take advantage of it if you need it, or tell your friends about it, of course. And then the last one is a regional transit service. It's our sort of bus line around the community. It does go towards the sort of the shopping kind of center in Batavia. So it'd be able to take you, you know, to go, you know, to restaurants or, you know, certain shopping stores, as well as, you know, just close to campus as well. And so another service, as long as you have your student ID, you ride it for free. And so this is a great service that you can utilize at any time. There is a schedule to it, but more than likely than not, they're always on time. And you know, they're just really nice people, and they'll, you know, they'll try to serve as best as possible. So these are other things coming out of my area. Any questions on these services at all?
Like I said, I'll say if you need to, like the food service and pantry is there. Don't be shy. If you need it, just go see them. We're more than willing to help you out and give you the resource if you actually need it. And also like the region transport, like the bus. If you live off campus, or if you just want to go off campus, you just hop on the bus and go. The bus go pretty much all around town. And I know sometimes it'll take you from College Village to Walmart and Target, or in that area, so you can go do your shopping if you want to do that too. So like I said, everything is free of charge for you. You just have to show your student ID, and then you can do that. So which is a great resource.
Fantastic. All right. So I'm just you know, follow us, contact us. Our social media sites we try to be as active as possible. So you'll see, you know, Facebook at GCC activities, at CAB for GCC, our Twitter at GCC activities. We did, I think, also just create a Instagram account. So I think, you know, that's something I got to put up there as well. But then you can also just reach out to us in our office information. I'm sorry. Our office information is right there, our location. We are located in the student union. That's also something my office oversees. Right now, our hours are not in effect because of one, summer, and two, just we're not on campus right now. And so, but if you ever need to contact us, you could always just reach out to us via email at sa@genesee.edu. And you know, we respond relatively quickly, being because I have come straight to my phone, so always on the go with that. So contact us at any time. You know, we're here to support and respond in any way that we can. And then I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so that hopefully we can have a small discussion. Any questions though too? Any questions? Anything you'd like to say?
For me, like I always recommend our students when I'm recruiting or doing my presentation, get involved on the campus, because that's one thing. Like you'll meet new friends. You might meet your roommate might be from around here, or your roommate might be from New York City. and then you get to go to New York City. Because when I was a student, I was an international student. Like most, like I think everybody in this right now is international student. So I got friends from New York City, friends from Pennsylvania, friends from Florida, and then during like Thanksgiving or summer or winter, like, hey, Leah, you want to come home with me? And I'm like, yeah. So I was able to go to New York City. So I walked around New York City, saw the Statue of Liberty. I went for Thanksgiving, so I saw the Thanksgiving Day Parade, which was awesome. Another time I went to New Jersey, Atlantic City, just because of people that I know. And then I was able to go out and just experience new places. And for me, that was awesome. Like for me, where I'm from, we don't have skyscrapers, like tall buildings. I know Japan, you guys have a lot of tall, like New York City, tall buildings. But where I'm from, we don't have any. So whenever I went to New York City, I'm like, oh, there's actually buildings that go higher than 10 floors now. And then you can see people like floor like 50, 60 floors. I'm like, that was awesome for me. But that's a new experience that I would have never experienced back home. So, like I said, just get involved. Like getting involved just makes your college year just go by, fly by. Because you have the friends. I know Miguel, their department does a phenomenal job. Like he said, they have the clubs. One of my personal favorite is throughout the year, they have activities for you. So you can fill out your teddy bear. So you get a teddy bear, fill it up. Another personal favorite is the bamboo plant. So they'll give you a little bamboo plant that you can just go and put in your room or just put it anywhere else, like where you want. So it's like all these different activities. And another personal favorite too during finals week is the relaxing and health. So they'll go and bring in massage. People come and you get free massage and just like stress-free relaxing, all these seminars that they bring. Comedians, movie nights, pizza party, grocery bingo. If all these different stuff that they organize, it's just like for you just to have fun, meet new people, and like he said, just broaden yourself and make you a better person and globalize you. So you can take this activity when you go back home, you can apply it over there. So I think this is a phenomenal, just get involved.
That's right. And to piggyback off of that, it's just, again, I want to stress and reiterate, I want to make sure that we're serving you as best as possible. And so the only way I'm able to do that is that if I hear from you or if, you work side by side along me. I'm the advisor to the Student Government Association. I help oversee the campus activities board. I'm also the advisor, the co-advisor for Phi Theta Kappa, our international, our national honor society that is internationally known. And so it's just ways that we're trying to build our students and have them have an experience that is going to make sure that they had a memorable GCC experience. But we can't do it without you, and so I put that on you too. We will do our efforts, but I want to make sure that you're kind of working side by side along me so that we can make sure that we're serving our students correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions, any comments? If you'd like, to let me know, like what's what do you expect out of your experience at GCC? What would you like to see? I'd like to hear that if any of you are comfortable sharing. It's all right. Again, I think just to reiterate, just start thinking about it. Start thinking about what you want to see out of your time. I think that's one way in which we can really start maneuvering the college experience for you. As long as you're voicing it and you're thinking about it, let's put some action behind it too. Okay. Theo, anything else you want me to say on my end?
No, I think we're good. So I think you did phenomenal. You just tell them everything that you guys have to offer. Like I said, just get involved because it'll make everything better. It'll make everything easier. You'll meet new people and you get to work with Miguel. So why not? Why won't you do that? So like I said, over there too in Student Union, you have TVs that they always have something going on. There's like movies, or just you can watch the news or whatever you want, you can do that. And one of my personal favorites, like the ping pong and the pool table. So if you like ping pong and like pool, it's right there. It's free. You just have to go and just have fun and meet people. So said if in our department on like everything we're on campus, his department is the fun department. So they always have everything like fun related. It comes out of them, which is awesome. So
that's exactly right. We try to make it as memorable as possible.
Yep.
All right. So I guess again,